hello there, family. I didn't see you there. And welcome back to another edition of Crenshaw Corner. I am Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the best part of my day, the wind beneath my wings, the breath in my lungs.
All right now.
The bumblebee to my Optimus Prime.
Transformers.
That took you entirely too long.
What's going on, family?
That was a whole movie.
I told you.
That was a series.
Listen, I've seen all of it, too.
There's cartoons, there's toys. That took you entirely too long.
I'm not doing the cartoons and toys, but I have seen all of the movies. So, give me credit. You know, we always play trivia, guys. What's going on, family? What is going on? I am Angela Crenshaw. Guys,
that's my wife, family.
Is going on?
That's my wife, family.
You like the way I did that?
I always love the way you do that.
Going on. But
oh,
go
wow.
ahead.
All right. The enthusiasm. I love the enthusiasm.
What's up, family? What's up, babe?
Family, nothing much, babe. How are you?
Hi. Your voice is different than Wednesday, because Wednesday you was like smooth R&B.
We're not going to start that again.
Smooth R&B.
We are not going to start that again.
Jams.
This is a new day. This is a new time. We're not going to do that.
Welcome to Friday, people.
Welcome to Friday, family. So we always like to start with just welcoming you. We thank you guys for listening. We thank you for being a part. We thank you for allowing us into your home, allowing us into your ears, allowing us into your life. We truly do appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Seriously.
For our new family members, however you're listening to us, whether it's on...
That's my church clap.
Was that your church clap?
Yeah, I was welcoming them.
Wow. So you're going to bring out a tambourine next?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So however you're listening to us, family, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Play, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Come on now.
We thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And for our returning family members.
Come on, y'all. Come on back in the room, y'all. What's up?
You already know how we feel about you.
Yes, absolutely.
And we thank you guys so much. We thank you for the feedback.
Yes.
We thank you for just reaching out to us. We thank you for loving us. We thank you for sticking in there with us.
We love y'all.
We thank you for when the podcasts sound good, when the podcasts don't sound so good.
When the podcast sound like we in a cave,
We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much,
and
guys.
as always, welcome to the cookout. And Bae, tell them what they need to do.
When you come, make sure you bring some aluminum foil so you can take something with you.
That's right. One thing we always say is that we love to have fun.
Yeah, we do.
We will go down a rabbit hole every once in a
time.
while.
Nope, bro. Every time.
Every time?
Every time.
Every time. But the one thing we always try to do is we try to make sure we leave you with something. We try to leave you a nugget, something to take with you.
Yes,
so that's why you bring the aluminum foil.
Come on and wrap it up. So family, listen. So we did Enough is Enough for mental
health. Enough is enough. Mental health.
And that struck a chord.
It did.
It struck a chord with some folk. So we decided we just gonna go ahead and kind of like hang with that one more time. Yeah,
we're gonna stick that just for a moment.
Yeah.
And Bae, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the part that struck a chord with the most listeners when we start talking about the chatterbox.
Yes.
When we start talking about that internal dialogue, that internal chatter.
What we say to ourselves.
So what I want to do, if it's okay with you, I want to kind of hang there for a moment.
Just hang.
And then I also want to kind of expound on that.
Okay.
And take that into marriages.
Come on, take it into the marriage.
Because the one thing that we don't talk about enough, we talk about that internal dialogue we have with each other.
Right.
We talk about the negative things we say to each other. You know, if you read any self-help book, they always tell you, you know, they talk to you about what do you say to yourself and how do you treat yourself and, you know, your internal dialogue and how to turn it off and things of that nature. But the one thing we don't talk about a lot of is what are we saying to each other?
Right.
What is a husband saying to his wife? What is a wife saying to her husband? And so I want to kind of, you know, travel down that road just a little bit. And it's possible we may step on some toes as we do. We
normally do, and it's okay.
Yeah, I want to ask you, are you okay with that if we do?
Are you serious?
No, I'm not really serious.
Okay, I was like, what? Like, why are you asking?
I'm not really serious.
I was like, why are you asking me that? Am I okay? I'm okay with it all. I think, here's the thing. When we talking about what we say to each other,
right?
How we handle each other, and when is enough is enough. I think enough is enough when we keep sweeping the things that our significant others say to us under the rug, like it doesn't affect us, or we laugh it off, or we banter back and forth, but really honestly wanting to say what we really want to say,
or we do the old standby and we chop it up to that's just who they are,
right? Or we just gonna keep it real,
or that's just how they are, or well, how he is.
That's how he is, y'all. Just excuse him. So absolutely.
Let's get honest for a moment. Let's get real for a moment.
Yeah.
And you didn't know this was coming.
Oh, wow.
But, the one thing we always try to do, we always try to be transparent.
Why is it coming in my time?
We try to be transparent with us, with each other.
Come on.
And definitely transparent with the family.
Absolutely.
In the 20 years, almost 21 years that you and I have been together, that we've been happily married, have I ever said something to you to hurt your feelings?
I think you've said things that hurt my feelings, but not intentionally. But in the beginning of our marriage, and the family knows, you were a jerk.
Wow.
Well, you said you was coming in my direction.
Wow. Yeah, but I was coming in your direction with a question. You just came at me with an attack. I don't know how we got there.
Again, and I did that because that's what I'm talking about right there. Just that stuff that we say to each other and we both laughing, but what if that was hurtful to you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I wanted to say that because I need the family to understand the example that we're trying to bring. And it's like, the beginning of the match, he was a jerk. But what if you're like, ooh, that hurt because that like you said, that was an attack on me.
Right.
So there's two things that's going to happen with an attack. Either you're going to attack back or you're going to internalize that. And the next thing you know, you're calling yourself a jerk. I've always been a jerk, when maybe you have jerk tendencies and you're not a jerk, but have the question and so I just wanted to give that example to show you guys what I meant by that. So I had to do it off the cuff when you weren't,
I appreciate that.
When you weren't paying attention and you'd be like, that wasn't a thought process. But have you hurt my feelings? Absolutely. Absolutely, you have. You have hurt my feelings. And again, I don't think that it was intentional. I mean, we've been married almost 21 years. We have had to hurt each other's feelings at least once or twice. And we're not even going to lie like it's not possible. Like, I've never, no. And I think, too, is because, again, without thinking, you're just thinking that you're saying something.
Right.
You're thinking that you're expressing something. You think that you're helping me along the way or giving me this good advice that sometimes is very hurtful,
I think, because I think what happens a lot of the times, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we fall into that trap of, and you said it best, I'm just keeping it 100. That phrase, that psychology has turned into something
totally different
from what it was intended for. Right
now, it's like almost like a mean girl phrase.
Yeah, because now we use that phrase to mask and to how do I want to say this? We use that phrase to lessen the blow of what we do to people.
Right, or what we
say to people.
Right, exactly.
Because what we do is that we allow ourselves to be a jerk. We allow ourselves to be an a-hole. We allow ourselves to be mean. We allow ourselves to say things to people, not to say people, to say things to our spouse.
Right.
And then we underline it, well, I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just being real.
Right.
When in essence, no, you're just being mean.
Right. And I think that's where the enough is enough comes in at, where you have to sit down with your spouse and say what you just said or how you made me feel. Because what happens if you don't do that, a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness begins to kind of like pull at you guys and pull at your heart and can separate you so easily. So you have to be careful. So that's when enough is enough, when you have to be like, okay, I love you, babe, but we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because there's something that you continuously keep saying or a way that you continuously keep treating me that's affecting me negatively. And it's giving me anxiety and it's hurting me or it's making me feel depressed because words hurt. Okay? Especially when it's coming from someone that you love.
Yeah, someone you love, someone you care about, someone who supposedly devoted their lives to protecting you, to taking care of you,
and I was
to your
going to say
well-being.
the word protect. Yes, absolutely.
And what's crazy, because let's tie this in, because we started with the conversation of chatterbox and internal dialogue and internal chatter,
right?
And then we went in the direction of marriage. So let's tie that together,
right?
Now the whole thing is, so I'm a person, whatever my upbringing is, whatever my background is, I have that thing in my head that tells me, okay, well, I'm not good enough in this particular area,
Right.
or I'm not sufficient in this particular area, or let's take it from a physical vanity standpoint, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, whatever. And we hear that the internal voice all the time, and it hurts.
Right.
And it makes us sad, or it makes us depressed, or it makes us anxious.
Right.
And we don't want to deal with those emotions. We don't want to deal with that voice. We're looking for ways to turn off that voice, whether it be social media, whether it be television, whether it be, let's be honest, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs.
Something to numb it.
Something to numb it.
Right.
But yet, those same thought processes and those same verbiage we freely use to our spouse.
Right, because they say hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, because we tell our spouse, and we do it in a way that we don't think it, like you said, we don't think anything of it. Well, I don't like the way you do this, or you did this wrong, or you're not good enough here.
Right.
And we do it like we're helping the person. Well, no.
I think the biggest thing out of all of that is what you said is, when every time your significant other does something, you tell them that they're doing it wrong. Because that was our throwback, let's say in reference to making up the bed. Because it's 40, as he says, 45 pillows. People, it's only 8. It's 8 pillows.
Nah, it's 32.
It's not. It's 8
32.
pillows. But
and I can only sleep on one.
Really?
Because the rest of them are decorative. I'm not even allowed to touch them.
Are you done?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, what you thought.
So what happens is that you used to make up the bed. I just did not like the way you put the pillows together, because I like because the way that it works is the 2 pillows in the back should be the plain color ones. Then the next 2 up in front of that should be the ones with patterns. Then after that, the next one that comes is the ones with the sham, and then the next one that comes is the smaller pillows. That's 8.
You've been watching too much Martha Stewart.
No, but that's what it is.
Who said so?
And so, me.
Oh, okay.
I like it. But what I remember, the reason why I'm saying that, because I remember one time you didn't do it that way, and you were quite offended because I came back behind you and I redid it, and you was like, well, babe, I did it. It's my bed too. So why did you? And I was like, babe, that's not how it goes. I don't like it. That's wrong. You did it wrong. And from that point, you didn't want to make up the bed anymore because you were offended.
Touch your daggone pillows.
Well, dang, not my daggone pillows.
I didn't want to touch your daggone pillows.
But you were offended, and I breezed over everything that you said, and I remember going back and thinking about that and was like, you said, but babe, this is my bed too. This is how I wanted it to look at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But all I was thinking was, this ain't how it's supposed to be done, and I don't like it. Not considering your feelings. So when I said to you, well, no, it's wrong, babe, that's not how it's supposed to be done, you took offense. Like, why did you take such offense to it? Like, to be like, was it me redoing the bed, or the words that I said after I redid the bed?
It was a combination of both.
Okay.
It was, first of all, you going back behind me like I was a child.
Okay.
Like I was a child that didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
That's first of all.
Right.
Second of all, you going behind me and redid something that I actually took time to do. I actually put effort into doing it, into making sure the sheets were correct, and to making sure the comforter was correct, and making sure the pillows were placed in a pleasing way.
Right.
And for you to come right behind me and redo what I did, like what I did was insignificant.
Right.
Like what
Absolutely.
I did didn't mean anything.
Right.
Like that 7 or 8 minutes that it took me to make up the bed was a waste of my time.
Right.
And then for you to come back and tell me that I did it wrong simply because it was not a pattern that you thought it should be.
Right.
Not because the bed was improperly made up, not because the sheets were not on the bed, not because, and the one thing about bed making, I do military folds and precision when it comes to bed making.
You really do.
I had to in the home I grew up in. You make the bed up anyway. It's a long, different story.
Don't go down the hole. Don't go down the rabbit hole.
But and for then you to say, well, you did it wrong. It was like at that point I'm like, okay, well then you do it.
Right.
If what I'm doing is wrong, you do it.
Right.
And let's take it a little step further.
Was your feelings hurt? Or...
No, my feelings were hurt.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, my feelings were hurt.
Right.
Because I went into, well, what I do, and I went down, even though you didn't say it, I went down that, well, nothing I do is good enough.
Right.
Because what happened was I started replaying other conversations we've had
Wow.
where I've done something else, or I've attempted to help you, or I cleaned up something, or I put something away.
And I'll redo it.
And you redo it. And
right.
you come right behind me.
Wow.
And redo it.
Ooh, ouch.
Like
Ouch.
what I, once again, like what I did,
Ooh.
like my contribution wasn't good enough.
Because it wasn't my way.
Because it wasn't your way.
Right, ouch.
Not that it was a wrong or right way, but it wasn't your way. And what happened was, because it wasn't your way, then you automatically say it's the wrong way.
And so what was, because we're talking about enough is enough, and because we've been through this so long, we've had this conversation before. So that day when you said that, what made enough where you were like, we need to have this conversation because I'm not dealing with this anymore. Like what? Because, you know, it's, like you said, you replayed all the other times, but this particular time because you had never said anything before.
Right.
So where was your enough? It was enough was like, okay, we're not doing this. I need this. She needs to know how I feel and what's coming from that.
I got tired of internally being angry with you. Is what happened.
Wow.
I got tired of internalizing anger and frustration with you.
Right.
And because knowing me and how I do things, it's going to come out wrong, and I'm going to mistreat you.
Right.
Or I'm going to say something flippant.
Right.
Or
just to retaliate. Absolutely.
Yeah, or I'm going to say something flippant. Or, you know, I'm going to shut everything down and I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
You know, and before it got to that point, I'd rather have the conversation with you.
Right.
Because once again, I know it wasn't intentional.
Right.
I know your goal was not to set out and hurt my feelings. And then again, but also I know how you think. And I know how your mind works.
How does it work, baby? I'm so scared.
No, it's not.
Tell me how my mind works. Go ahead, I'm listening. Just tell me how my mind be working.
You have a particular picture in your head of everything, of every situation. You've already played it out. And it has to play out exactly the way you see it in your mind.
Because if it doesn't.
In your mind's eye. And with the crazy part, I'm actually reading a book right now that I kind of regret reading because it's actually extremely boring. I thought it was going to be a better book than it is, but I'm stuck in it now. So I have to complete it.
You got to complete it, bro.
Got to complete it.
Got to complete it, bro.
But one of the things they talk about, it's a book on, basically it's a book on champion. Actually, it's entitled, I believe, Champion's Mindset or Mindset of a Champion, something like that.
I think it's Mindset of a Champion.
Mindset of a Champion. Yeah, something like that. But it's from the sports aspect of how does an athlete become a champion?
Right.
And what does it take to do that? And the mental aspect and the physical and what does it take to become a champion? Well, the chapter I'm reading right now is talking about visualization.
Ooh, okay.
And it's talking about visualizing what you want.
Right.
So if you want, you know, if you're a basketball player, then you visualize yourself making 100 free throws or whatever it is, or a golfer, you visualize yourself making that 15-foot putt or whatever it is.
Whatever it is,
But you visualize it and you spend 10 to 15 minutes and you visualize and you see it. And you see it just as clear. You see yourself doing the task, following through all the way.
Right.
And you see this vivid image. That reminded me of you.
Oh, Lord.
Because that's how you spend a lot of your time. You're a very visual person.
I am.
But you take it to the extreme.
Am I extreme?
You are.
Really?
And it's not a good or a bad thing. You just take it to the extreme.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because you leave no leeway for adjustment.
Or grace.
Or, well, I mean.
Same thing.
Since you want to be honest, you know,
and no
brutally
grace.
honest.
And no grace.
You leave no leeway for grace.
Right.
So, and if it does not play out exactly the way you want it in your mind to play out, then it's wrong.
Right.
And I knew that about you. It was still aggravating as crap, though.
Right.
Because,
it wasn't sexy?
Huh?
Wasn't sexy?
It wasn't sexy.
Was never ever sexy?
It was never ever sexy.
You know how you get married and what somebody do is sexy, but as time go on.
That wasn't one of the things. There's a lot of things that you do that's sexy. That wasn't one of them.
Wasn't sexy? Okay, cool. I just wanted to check the sexiness.
And that's cool. That particular trait almost got you shaking baby syndrome, to be honest. It almost did. Because that particular trait almost got you shaking baby syndrome.
Did some shaking happen?
I will never I was not raised that way. I would never, ever, ever, ever hit a woman.
Right.
Plus, I know you hit back. I ain't going through that. But what I will do,
Go shake me.
in a very forceful manner, is grab you by your shoulders and shake your little head to the back of your head, meet the back of your shoulders.
So rude, man.
I'm just saying. So before we got there and I gave you shaking baby syndrome,
God, you so good to me.
I felt like we need to have this particular conversation. Now, we're making light of it and we're having fun with it. And we're talking about something very trivial as far as making up the bed.
Right.
So let's take that a step further because let's be honest.
Right.
Every marriage is not a good marriage right now.
Right.
Every marriage has not, ascended to the point of true open communication, true honest communication.
Right.
Every marriage ain't there.
Right, but here's the thing I wanted to say before you said that it's small and
go ahead and
trivia.
cut me off. Go ahead.
Because I love you. Because I don't want to forget it, baby.
Go say it.
Because when you were saying that, we making light of it and that it may be small or minute or very trivia, but those are the things that blow up the biggest. Those things that the other person think is trivia or small or it shouldn't have been a big deal. I mean, what was a big deal that I said this to you?
Right.
Or what? And here's another thing. What's a big deal? I always say that to you. And that's where, because I've been harvesting it. Is it harvest? Yeah, harvest. I like harvest. Was it harvest?
Let's go harvest.
Harvesting it and holding on to it.
It's harnessing.
Is it harnessing?
I don't know. It's a H word.
We've been holding it.
Google it.
Holding it inside.
There you go. Google it.
I've been holding it inside and then when enough became enough and you said it again to me, just me, whoever we're talking about.
Right.
At that point, that was my breaking point. But the goal of enough is enough that we're talking about where you don't want to get to that breaking point.
Right.
Where you have to have, Sanchez's favorite line, a balance and a boundary, or sometimes what you think was cute in the beginning of the marriage doesn't be cute on the latter part.
Yeah.
So it's best for those things that you do not care for, that your spouse is saying to you or your significant other is saying to you, that you need to, as my mama would say, nip that in the bud early in the game.
That's from Barney Fife.
Yeah. Nip it.
But once again, let's take that a step further. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the constant beratement. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the constant. And you and I have had this conversation before because it's different points in our marriage. We've said to each other at different times, I feel like I can do nothing right. Mm-hmm. And you said that to me before.
Right.
I've said that to you before.
Right.
Where the conversations we're having, Habin.
Words are hard.
Google
that too, y'all. That's a Scrabble word.
The conversations were...
What is it again?
Habin.
Habin is a Scrabble word. Y'all look that up. That's about... right. The habin right there going to get y'all about 25 points.
The conversations we're having has led to either you feeling like I feel as though you can't do anything right, or I feel as though you feel I can't do anything right.
Absolutely.
But what if that is actually your everyday conversation? Every day you're explaining to your spouse why what they're doing is wrong, or why what they're doing is not sufficient enough, or what they're doing doesn't measure up, or even something as simple as you don't even thank them anymore for what they do. And you get to the point where you just assume they're supposed to do this.
Right.
And so you don't even acknowledge it anymore.
Right.
You don't acknowledge them taking time to cook you dinner.
Right.
You don't acknowledge them taking time to keep your house clean. You don't acknowledge them taking time to make sure your children are safe, your children are okay.
Right.
You don't acknowledge them going to work every day to a job they don't necessarily want to go to.
But it's for the family.
To make sure that you have a roof over your head,
right.
that the kids are being fed, that when you come in and flip on a light switch, Duke Power is connected to it, and there's
right.
something comes on. So what do you do? And this is kind of a long way to ask the question, but I want you to talk to that person.
Right.
I want you to talk to the person who is experiencing that right now.
Right.
Who is that person where they feel like they can't do anything right.
Right.
They feel like whatever they say is wrong. They're questioning whether or not their spouse even loves them.
Right.
Because all they hear is the negative chatter. I want you to talk to that person for a moment.
Well, here's the thing about that. And again, we've talked about this on Wednesday. We're not therapists. We're not psychologists. So we
never went to school
for it. So we just want to get clear the air. But what I do want to say to that is enough sweeping that under the rug. Because that's what we do. Right? We sweep it under the rug. It happens one time. It didn't mean anything. We sweep it under the rug. It happens again. So what happens normally when you keep hearing that and receiving that, you become numb to it.
Right.
You generally don't even hear it anymore at that point. Because the bottom line, no matter what you do, the expectation, like you used to say back in the day, the expectation is another shoe is going to drop. So I'm just waiting for it. And when it do, I'm already prepared. So when the significant other man or woman says it, it doesn't affect you because that is your expectation. That is what you're expecting them to say. That is what you're expecting them to feel. And so when you were just saying that, all I kept hearing was enough is enough of not having people be grateful for what you do. Because whatever we do for our family members, even for our significant others, are our option, right? And so, but it is up to us, right? Like, I'm not saying that we out here, like, I wash the dishes, somebody need to say thank you.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. But what I am saying is that you have to have that conversation, because a lot of times especially women, men do too, but women, I'm just talking about on the house end for a second. Women feel so unthanked, right?
Okay.
And feel like their children and their significant others feel like that's what they're supposed to do. So therefore that what they do doesn't matter. And so sometimes when I think this was one of the big things that was for me back then, was me cleaning out the refrigerator or whatever I did, and then you guys would just throw stuff in there. At that point, I felt like you guys didn't care about my feelings. I equated that to my feelings, right? You didn't care about my feelings because, like you with the bed, I've taken my time all day to do this for you guys, and what you did is you just messed it back up like it didn't matter that I just took 2 or 3 hours to do that, right? And so the same thing with those conversations where the person is like, I'm giving, like you told me, I'm giving you the best I got, baby. Anita Baker. And so
Giving you the best that
I got, baby. So, and the person who you think you're doing it for is not even grateful. Or the person that you think you're doing it for, like you said, like what I did to you is like, that's wrong.
Right.
And now, but that, like you said, but now that's something that's happened on a regular basis. So you got 2 things that you're going to do. We talked about it earlier. You're either going to be bitter, resentful, or you're going to say enough is enough and I need to have that conversation. Because what if, I'm just saying what if, not all the time, that person genuinely don't know that they're doing it, because there are some chances where people don't know that they're genuinely doing it. They were raised that way to, quote, keep it real or whatever. They were raised that way to say what was, because you was raised, and early in our marriage, I was like, bruh, the way that Sanchez was raised was whatever come up, come out.
Yeah, it was.
Whatever come up, come out.
No, I meant that. And it's not even something that was necessarily purposely taught to me. It's the most important people in my life. That's how they lived.
Right.
To this day, that's my mother.
Yeah, that's your mom.
That's my mom.
That's mama.
That's
Mama Linda.
She has
Mama
no
Linda.
she has no filter.
Right. So what if? But because mama, I love you. Don't be mad. I'm about to say, because nobody checked mama. Like, like, who gonna check Linda, boo? Who gonna check Linda? Who gonna check her?
Who gonna check her?
Because I'm not checking you now, ma. Hold up. I'm not checking you now. I'm just saying. What you think I'm checking you?
I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying, when you leave something unchecked, it can get bigger and it can snowball out of control, right?
Yeah.
And so what enough is enough is saying, I don't want my marriage to be out of control. I don't want to leave this unchecked, because what if this person, because this is the way they raised, genuinely don't know that they're hurting me, or genuinely don't know that they're treating me away because they thinking that this is just how it is, because that is possible.
Right.
So at that point, you have to go, okay, you have to sit with yourself, and that's where the internal chatter too. So it's like a double-edged sword, because you have your internal chatter that's saying, and then you got that other part of you that is like a little girl or a little boy that's going, don't worry about it, just sweep it on the rug. it won't happen again, or you become numb to it, or you have that internal chatter that like, well, maybe they are right. I'm always messing up. I've never done nothing right. I'm not a good wife. I'm not a good mother, blah, 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 blah. And then when they collide, right, then you have this, then you want to know how somebody's been in a marriage for 20, 22, 23, 4, 5 years, whatever, and the marriage, you've seen those couples that are bitter.
Oh, yeah.
They're angry.
Oh, yeah.
They've been married forever, but they're not married, if that makes sense. They've been married, but they're not married, if any of that makes sense, what I just said.
No, it makes sense. And I think a lot of the times we also fail to realize is that there can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Where if I tell you, as your husband and you're my wife, and I tell you all the time that you're not a good wife, or you're not good enough, you're not sufficient enough, or this or that, then you're going to become that.
You got to be careful what you say.
You got to be careful what you say.
Right.
Because if I tell you for long enough that, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, eventually you're going to start believing that, and that's what you're going to become.
Right.
So that's like you just said, we have to be very careful what we say, not only to ourselves, but what we say to our spouses.
Yeah.
Because whether we want to believe it or not, life and death truly is in the power of the tongue. If you want a successful marriage, you have to speak life into your marriage.
And you have got to work.
One of the things that you taught me, and just to kind of get spiritual for a moment, one of the things you always said to me is that whenever we're going through something, you don't talk to me. You talk to my spirit man.
Right.
You talk to the man who I am, not the man I'm pretending to be, or not the man that I'm acting like for that moment.
Right.
You talk to who I am.
Yeah, I'm talking to that spirit. So if you're acting mean or evil, I'm talking to that spirit in you, because the Bible says that I'm not fighting you, flesh and blood.
Right.
I'm fighting spirits and principalities. So I have to recognize, and even I used to do the kids like that. I would have to recognize what spirit am I'm dealing with, and I would have to go after that spirit. So it was very much like for you, if you were acting a certain way, if you was acting jealous, or if you were acting angry or bitter or mad, I had to come after that spirit, because I had to break that.
I ain't jealous, boo. I ain't jealous, boo.
Listen.
Don't put that out there, boo.
Okay, my bad. Whatever.
Jealous,
like I said, y'all.
I'm just saying, I'm a catch, boo.
You know what?
I'm a catch, boo.
Whatever, player.
I ain't jealous out here, boo.
But what I want to say too about that on
What
a good note too is what I think sometimes too, when enough is enough, is when you have to sit down with your family members or your spouse and tell them what you need and what you want.
We touched on that in the last episode.
Was it Wednesday?
In the
We talked
midweek
about
moment.
that. Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, why not? Go back and listen to it.
Absolutely.
And we made the analogy of an owner's manual.
Right.
Every device you purchase, everything you purchase comes with an owner's manual.
Right.
And as people, we have to have our owner's manual. Sometimes. Most of the time. 99.9% of the time.
99.9.9.9.
You have to have an honest conversation with someone about how you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Because you got to remember, everyone grew up differently.
Absolutely.
Everyone's dynamic was different. How people's family reacted to each other was different. Previous relationships were different.
Absolutely.
Everything is different. So if you want to be treated a certain way, you have to have that conversation. Never assume
anything
that a person knows how to treat you.
Right. And you have to be able to have that conversation early in the game, because what'll happen is you'll be 5 years down the line like, oh, so now all of a sudden this bothering you. My attitude, like that, and you,
because I've said that,
and you looking like, no, it's been bothering me all the time, but that's not their fault, because you didn't discuss in the beginning of the game. You swept under the rug and saying enough is enough before we even go into further. What I want you to do is we need to have this conversation about how you treat me and how I want to be treated and what I need from you. One of my things early in the game when I was dating, I don't even know if I really dated, because anyway, because I always had one person for majority of my teenage years coming up. But one thing I always should tell my girlfriends was like, how you started is how it's gonna finish. So if you're dating a guy and we've had this conversation, if you're dating a guy and the only thing y'all do is stay in your house, Netflix and chill, you cook, and y'all don't never go out anywhere, y'all don't even go to McDonald's or nothing, then you can't get upset so now one day you decide you want to go out to dinner and he looking at you like, I don't want to do that.
That ain't what we do.
That ain't what we do. Basically, exactly. That ain't what we do, because now you have started this thing where going out is not, he thought was not a priority for you. Staying home and Netflix and chill was a priority for you because you didn't say enough is enough. Let me tell you what I really need. Let me tell you what I really want. So now 5 years in, you're going to change the game and be mad at him when he doesn't want to do it, or be mad at her because she doesn't want to do it.
Now,
you know?
Also, for our cynical family members, because I know there's some out there.
Come on, family members.
We never said that you deserve to be mistreated.
Never did we.
We never said.
Never did we.
That if you're being mistreated, it is your fault.
Right.
We never said that.
That's not what we're saying.
That is not the conversation we're having.
At all.
What we are saying is that you can't make assumptions because what I think is treating you well, you may not think that.
Come on now. Come on.
Case in point.
Come on.
Early in our marriage, and we still battle with this sometimes, my wife felt like treating me well was keeping the house clean, doing the laundry, making up the bed, staying out of my way, keeping this in order, keeping that in order, keeping the closet in order.
Dinner on the stove, or everything.
That's what she thought treating me well was.
Wait a minute, when I said dinner on the stove, you hesitated. I'm sorry. Excuse me, family. Please hold my mute. Let me pause. Pause, please.
What happened?
Because you was going on a roll, but then when I said having dinner ready on the stove, you stopped.
What happened?
And then you went to something else.
Huh?
I didn't see you, because for the other things I was saying, you was nodding your head.
Huh?
But you had nod your head about the dinner on the stove thing.
Huh?
Yeah, okay. Okay, boop. Okay, I press play.
Nah,
keep going.
I'm just saying, because early in our marriage, you used to feed me mustard chicken. So I'm just saying.
Listen, y'all.
No, don't listen, y'all.
Listen, y'all.
Don't listen.
I gotta just say this one thing before he finish up. Let me tell you something. You go ahead and get you some chicken wings.
Family.
Clean them chicken wings up.
Family,
cut the
cautionary
feathers. And then what I need you to do is get you some mayonnaise, some mustard,
cautionary
some yellow
family.
Mustard. Go on
family.
and coat let your chicken sit in that marinade.
No,
then
no
you
family.
put it in the flour.
No family.
In the flour, and then you fry that bad boy. I'm telling you.
Don't listen to
good.
any of that.
He's a storyteller.
Don't listen to any of that.
He's a storyteller.
Nope.
But carry on, my love. Carry on.
You done threw me off. What was I saying? You done threw me off.
The way, because what happened with us, the way
you
treated
Thank you very much. Because that whole concept it took me back to a place I didn't want to be. Took me back to a dark place. Took me back to a dark time. So you saying
my mustard chicken wasn't good?
Baby, I told you that when you was making that mustard chicken. That took me to it. Because I loved you.
You loved? You don't love me.
I loved you. That was a dark time in my life then. When you had me eating mustard chicken.
Baby, it was mustard chicken wings.
Yeah, that combination should never
just
be.
Go ahead, baby. Go
but
ahead.
Anyway,
yes, baby.
Once again, so my wife felt as though doing those things was treating me well. Where for me, I can clean up for myself.
Right.
I got beat up enough as a child about keeping clean.
Ooh, if Mama Linda said you about to be in trouble, bro.
So I know how to look. I'm not one of them dudes. Or not one of them people, because there's some women that don't know how to do it either. But I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to fold. I know how to do laundry. I know how to do all this stuff.
Yes.
So that stuff was irrelevant to me.
Right.
So I wanted time. I wanted to be with her. I wanted things to do with her.
But I was always busy.
She was always busy.
Right.
She was always busy trying to take care of me, but I wasn't included in the taking care of me.
Come on now.
So
and ooh. Come on now.
Well, I'm just saying.
We grew up. I'm just thinking like, wow, we've grown. We've grown.
So, and we're not the only case study like that.
Right.
So the person they're doing stuff for you, or you're doing something for someone thinking that you're doing a good thing, where at the end of the day, where this particular action may be number one on your priority list, but the person you're doing it for, this action may be number 6 on their priority list.
But hey, so this is family. What I want you to do is go back to maybe episode 7, I think it is, or whatever, about the love language, because it goes back to love language
that
at
was,
that. Was it 7?
That was.
I don't know. Go back. It was early in the game.
Early in the game.
But then that goes back to knowing, having that conversation and saying enough is enough. Let's have a conversation what our love language is.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's my love language, to serve, to do that, you know. And for me, for what I like is, do you know what my love language is?
Huh?
Do you know my love language? You looking like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, you a server. You like serving.
No.
Huh?
No. Not what I like to do, what I like to receive.
What happened?
What?
Huh?
What's my love language I like to receive, sir?
Gifts. You like gifts?
That is a lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah, you like gifts.
No, sir. Ooh, family. No.
One gift's one of them.
I love affirmations, baby.
Yeah, that's the gift of affirmation. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. Because when you affirming someone, you're giving them the gift of confidence. You're giving them the gift of uplifting. You're giving them the gift of joy. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Are you sure?
That's what I said.
Family, y'all replay this and come back and let me know what he really said.
I was in the kitchen when I said it.
But go ahead, carry on, my little bucket.
No, but I think we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna about to wrap this up.
You gonna wrap it up, baby?
Yeah, but no, it's just have the conversation, because never assume.
Right.
Just because I love you doesn't necessarily mean that I know how you want to be treated. So you have to have that conversation. It's never too late to start that dialogue. It's never too late to sit down and give someone your owner's manual so they can understand what is the best, how to get the optimal performance out of you.
Come on with your optimal. You in your dictionary. And also you
I was in the middle of a thought.
Okay, you were.
Go ahead,
No.
All I was going to say
I'm sorry.
is that the only way that you ever going to get the optimal performance out of anything is that you have to fully understand how that thing operates.
Right.
And the only way you're going to get the optimal performance out of your marriage, out of your spouse, is that you have to fully understand how your marriage operates.
Right.
Because every two marriages don't operate the same.
Exactly.
And you have to understand how your spouse operates, because every man don't operate the same and every woman doesn't operate the same. I don't care if you've been in 13 relationships before your marriage.
Absolutely.
All 14 women or 14 men
women
are different. But go ahead, what you were going to say.
And also, when you think about, we talk about the manual as well, don't make sure that you know all the functions of your spouse or significant other. You know how back in the day, my dad, God bless, he's in heaven now, but Pop with the VCR, he only knew pause and play. Yeah. That's all he knew. His DVD player did so much more. It recorded. It did everything. He had no clue, because he just wanted to do those two things. And long as it did those two things, he was good. He was good to go. But that's not it. You're not getting the optimal out of your marriage if you don't know all the functions. Like, Pop didn't get the optimum feel of his his DVD player, because he didn't know all of the functions. He didn't utilize all the buttons on the remote to give the full optimum experience that his DVD could have given him. And that's the same thing for marriage. You only want to play 3 buttons because those are the ones that make you feel comfortable. Right. But for optimum marriage, there are other buttons that are there that can bless you so much if you have the conversation. And for Pop, it should have been like, enough is enough. I want to record. I want to do this and that. But because he didn't know how, until Sanchez came, he was like, Pop, you could have been recording it now. He was like, what? He didn't know. So again, not only reading the owner's manual, but touch and feel and listen and hear what your significant other has to say. And for the significant other, stop pushing it under the rug. Tell people what you need and what you want. When it comes to enough is enough in a marriage, I don't want you to be like, enough is enough. I want a divorce. Enough is enough. I don't want to be with you, because you're so bitter and frustrated and resentful because you did not have the conversation. Right. That's my final word. This is 2 days in a row. You see me?
Actually, your final thought summed up everything beautifully. I don't have a final thought. I really don't. So, family.
Are you okay? Got a fever?
No, I'm good. You summed it up beautifully. I can't add and or subtract for anything you just said. Come on now.
So, by the way, you looking good, boy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Got your beard, got your dreads flowing. This man's hair is long, but anyway, getting in the ponytail. Go on, sexy I don't say sexy chocolate, but you more sexy mocha.
Anyway, so family, as always, we thank you. We thank you so much, family. We thank you for listening. We thank you for being a part. However you're listening to us, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Play, whether it's Amazon, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
We thank you so much. And you know what? Something I forgot to do in the beginning. You didn't catch me on it. We consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, all in the Crenshaw Corner.
Yes.
And you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yes.
And family, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.